welcome to E&I UK and Europe Edition. I'm Giancarlo Matera, reporting from London. We'll be bringing you news reports from around the United Kingdom and Europe. And we have live reporters on standby, ready to give their reports. On our program today, Boris Johnson pleased but cautious as England enters second phase of lockdown easing. In France, they close schools as it enters its 4 weeks of limited lockdown. Also joining us, our live reporters from the United Kingdom, is Roanna Bianca Arino. Hello, Roanna.
Hi, Giancarlo. For my report today, we'll hear updates on the coronavirus situation in the Republic of Ireland.
Thank you so much. We look forward to that report. Also from the UK, we are joined by Kathleen Eusebio. Hello, Kathleen.
Hi, Giancarlo. I'll be reporting on Banksy painting for UK Health Service sells for record £16.75 million.
Thank you so much. We also have a report from Cyprus, where the easing of the pandemic restrictions are ongoing. This report by Susan de los Reyes. Also joining us from EBC Switzerland, we have our reporter Mian Glauser. Hi, Mian.
Hi, Giancarlo. Today we'll be reporting about Geneva City that goes for a greener landscape.
Thank you so much. From our EBC Bureau in Germany, we will receive a baking lesson for beginners today. This report will be brought to us by John Pabustan. And then we'll end today's show, as always, with our view from our window. This week, it's from the Red Square in Moscow, Russia. But first, those main news headlines again. Boris Johnson is pleased but cautious as England enters second phase of lockdown easing. People in England on Monday rushed outdoors as sports returned in the latest easing of coronavirus restrictions. Although Prime Minister Boris Johnson warned spiraling cases in Europe meant more deaths were inevitable. England's months-old rules have been relaxed, thanks in large part to a successful vaccination drive, enabling outdoor gatherings of up to 6 people or 2 households, in what newspapers have dubbed Happy Monday. Under the UK government's staggered lockdown lifting plan for England, schools reopened on March 8th, and an official stay-at-home order ended on Monday, allowing team and individual amateur sports to restart. Non-essential retailers and services such as hairdressers will reopen from April 12th. Limited indoor mixing in hospitality premises will then be allowed from mid-May, while many other remaining strict restrictions will be eased on June 21 if the outlook remains positive. Prime Minister Boris Johnson paid tribute to the public's months of sacrifice, as he said he hoped Monday will kickstart a great British summer of sport, with people of all ages reunited with teammates and able to resume activities that they love. But he also warned that the third wave of the pandemic sweeping across Europe would lead to a rise in deaths at home, despite the vaccine rollout. He called the UK's vaccine rollout very impressive, but added that experts don't know exactly how strong our fortifications are against another wave. With more than 126 deaths, Britain has one of the world's worst mortality rates from the pandemic. But the level of new infections has been falling since early January and is now averaging around 5,000 cases a day. Meanwhile, on Sunday, the country passed the milestone of inoculating more than 30 million adults with the first coronavirus vaccine dose. Britain has so far been using 2 jabs, developed by Oxford University, the AstraZeneca, and the BioNTech Pfizer. The first batch of 17 million doses of the US company Moderna's vaccine is set to be delivered next month, which is easing concerns about an imminent shortfall of supplies. The government has insisted it is on course to hit its target of offering a first jab to all adults by the end of July, and that follow-up second doses are also on target. To European news now, where on Wednesday, French President Emmanuel Macron announced a limited national lockdown for the next 4 weeks. Throughout the country, school lessons will take place remotely starting this coming week. This will be followed by a 2-week vacation. And then the week starting April 26th and May 3, there will be mixture of online and classroom lessons depending on school levels. This announcement, although expected by many, is leaving teachers, students, and parents having to make last-minute arrangements. Some parents also worry about having to juggle work and children at home, especially in smaller apartments that most often come with no outdoor space. Many have, however, expressed their understanding of such measures given the current situation. France on Wednesday reported more than 59,000 new cases, stating hospitals are overwhelmed by the number of patients requiring intensive care. On Thursday, the country had a total of close to 4.7 million confirmed infections since the beginning of the pandemic. On top of the daily curfew from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m., the new restrictions from this weekend also include the closing of non-essential shops and limited trips away from home within a 10-kilometer range. It's time for a break now, but please come back for some more E&I UK and Europe edition.
Kumanta, sumayaw tayong lahat. Saya-saya.
Welcome back to E&I UK and Europe edition. Now for some more interesting stories from around the United Kingdom. News in Ireland as they open a new walk-in COVID-19 testing site. For more details, we're joined by Rowena Bianca Arino. Hi, Rowena.
Hi, Giancarlo. Ireland opens new walk-in coronavirus testing sites as case numbers plateau. Residents in high-virus areas without symptoms or a doctor's referral are being tested as the nation braces for restrictions to be continued. 5 sites opened in the recent week, 4 in the capital of Dublin and 1 in the Midlands. The Director of Public Health in North Dublin explains the purpose of these testing sites. Let's listen.
Country. And the purpose is to try and identify people without obvious symptoms of COVID who could be going about their daily business unaware that they could be infectious and could be spreading COVID to other people. There's a need for targeted approach always in the management of infectious diseases because numbers are lower in other parts of the country. They're extremely high in the areas we've picked for this initiative, and we want to be able to bring those numbers down.
Mm-hmm.
While these steps continue, Ireland also starts to lift the 3-month coronavirus lockdown. Prime Minister Micheál Martin announced even if many of the restrictions will remain in place until May. We are on the final stretch of this terrible journey, Martin said in a national address. By being safe now while significantly ramping up the vaccination program, we'll enjoy a much greater freedom later in the summer, he added. Ireland entered its 3rd coronavirus lockdown in late December, closing restaurants, pubs, and non-essential shops, and asking people to stay at home or limit non-essential travel to within a radius of 5 kilometers. But starting from April 12, people will be allowed to travel freely within their county, and 2 households will be permitted to meet outdoors, and some paused construction work will restart. Pupils already began returning to the classroom on a phased basis in March, but schools should be fully open by April 12. Later in the month, some sports activities will be allowed to restart and outdoor visitor attractions will reopen, Martin said. The government would then consider the phased reopening of non-essential stores, personal services such as hairdressers, as well as museums, libraries, and galleries in May. Giancarlo?
Thank you for that. What is also the status of the rollout now of the COVID-19 vaccinations there in Ireland? And could you also give us the current official case figures, please?
Yes, well, Giancarlo, Martin said more than 800,000 vaccine doses have now been delivered in Ireland, where the rollout has been tied to an EU-wide program hobbled by supply issues. So far, around 4,680 people have died from the coronavirus in Ireland, which has a population of 5 million according to the latest official figures. Despite weathering the first two waves of the pandemic relatively well, Ireland has been hit hard by the third wave, with more than half of the total deaths recorded since the start of 2021. The government has blamed the rise on the arrival of new, more infectious virus variants, but Dublin's decision to ease restrictions ahead of December last year was also seen as playing a significant role. Giancarlo?
Thank you so much, Rowena, for bringing us that latest update from Ireland.
Thank you. I'm Rowena Biancarino reporting for Eagle News, and we live in interesting times.
As we heard earlier, a Banksy painting with the proceeds going to the UK National Health Service sells for a record price. We have Kathleen Eusebio joining us for more details. Hello, Kathleen.
Hi, Giancarlo. A painting known as Game Changer by the British street artist Banksy sold for a record of £16.75 million, or $23.1 million, the highest ever for a Banksy painting, to an unnamed buyer after fierce bidding at Christie's auction house in London, with proceeds going to benefit State Health Service staff. Let's take a look.
Morning. Tessa, you have it here. The gavel is up. Are we all done? The Game Changer by Banksy at 14,400,000 is sold. Well done. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, what an extraordinary success. And I just want to reiterate one thing, that the artist that wishes me to thank the British Red Cross for authorising the use of the Red Cross emblem in this work. The Red Cross emblem, he said, is restricted by the UK Geneva Conventions Act in order to preserve its protective function during armed conflicts, and to make it very clear that when the symbol appears by itself, one can trust that it means, don't shoot, I'm not in the fight. But once again, thank you so much. What an incredibly significant emblem of what we've all been through, and the incredible support of the NHS over several months now, and probably a few more to come. Congratulations, everybody.
It first appeared at Southampton General Hospital on England's south coast during the first wave of the global coronavirus crisis in May last year. The artist, who first emerged out of Bristol's graffiti scene in southwest England in 1990s, left a note with a painting, thanking hospital staff for their work battling the pandemic. Thanks for all you're doing. I hope this brightens up the place a bit, even if it's only in black and white, he wrote. Proceeds from the auction will go to NHS charities, and a reproduction of the piece will continue to hang at the Southampton Hospital. The auctioneer hailed Banksy's incredible gesture in donating the work. It is a game changer in every sense, he said of the painting. The auction price swiftly exceeded the pre-sale estimate of between £2.5 million and £3.5 million. Masked intermediaries talking into mobile phones relayed bids from around the world during the nail-biting sale. The previous record auction price for a Banksy work in October 2019 was nearly $9.9 million at Sotheby's auction house for Devolved Parliament, a painting showing a parliament populated by chimpanzees. Back to you, Giancarlo.
Thank you, Kathleen. Could you also tell us a little bit more about the meaning behind the name? Why is it called Game Changer? What does it symbolize?
Well, Giancarlo, Christie said in a statement, the painting was a personal tribute to those who continue to turn the tide of the pandemic. As an artwork, however, it will remain forever a symbol of its time, a reminder of the world's real game changers and of the vital work they perform, the international art seller said. The painting may also have a political subtext, though, as it was donated shortly after Prime Minister Boris Johnson told the public antibody tests could be a game changer in the pandemic, only to have experts quickly pour cold water on the idea. Giancarlo?
Thank you, Kathleen. For the benefit of some of our viewers who may not have heard or familiar with the artist Banksy, who is he and why is his artwork considered significant and very popular in the art world?
That's a good question, Giancarlo. The reality is we don't know exactly who he is. We know he is a famous but anonymous British graffiti artist. He keeps his identity a secret. His art just simply pops up in the public places, and he usually only reveals it is his work after it is posted in his social media. A lot of his work is created in a specific style which people easily recognize. And many people have attempted to find out about his identity, but no luck. Giancarlo?
Okay, thank you again for joining us this week, Kathleen.
Thank you, Giancarlo. Reporting from London, United Kingdom, I'm Kathleen Eusebio. We live in interesting times.
Okay, it's time for another break now, but please come back again for some more ENI UK and Europe edition.
Hey there, Arnie Aquino here at Hatley Castle, one of the filming locations for the X-Men series. Don't forget to tune in to Digital Nest only on Net25.
Welcome back to ENI UK and Europe edition. Now for some more interesting stories from around Europe this week. With news that Cyprus is lifting its COVID-19 related measures, here's a report of Susan de los Reyes. Let's watch her report.
Since the beginning of the COVID-19 outbreak in Cyprus, the virus continues to be a threat. After its first lockdown in March 2020, a second one was implemented in January of this year. It was only in March 16th of this year that the government started to ease the measures in place.
A national curfew is imposed between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. Residents are allowed to leave home twice a day, but authorities require that they send a text message so movement can be controlled. Household gatherings are limited to a maximum of 10 attendees. Face masks are mandatory on public transportation, at outdoor spaces, and at all indoor public places. Restaurant terraces are open. The Cypriot government also continues to use a four-tier color-coded system with regards to international entry restrictions. The government has also implemented a free rapid antigen testing of all employees returning home from their workplace. Rapid test has to be done every 7 days. The Ministry of Health considers vaccination as a key weapon in dealing with the health crisis and started its national vaccination program in December 2020. Vaccine is planned for the population aged 45 and above. According to the Health Ministry, 58,000 or 7% of the population in Cyprus has already been vaccinated. The latest numbers show that positive cases in Cyprus have reached 45,430, 257 deaths, and 2,057 have recovered.
Thank you for having me today. I'm Susan de los Reyes, reporting from Limassol, Cyprus. We live in interesting times.
Thank you so much, Susan, for that update from Cyprus. In the city of Geneva now, it is making changes to its landscape architecture. With us to give more details is Min Glauser. Hello, Min.
Hi, Giancarlo. Yes, so in the city, it is important to take into consideration green spaces within the urban areas for multiple reasons. That's exactly what Geneva shows by taking the decision to decrease the pruning of the trees. The purposes are mainly to favor the biodiversity and fight against what we call urban heat islands. During last winter, the Service des Espaces Verts renounced in pruning more than 360 trees, especially plane trees. They are also studying the 1,400 different kinds of tree pruned in the shape of tête de chat, or cat head in English, which refers to the outgrowth silhouette at the end of the branches, so that they can analyze their potential of conversion in order to develop progressively their branches and foliage. This decision will also contribute for the city of Geneva in reaching one of the revegetation politics goal, which is to go from 21% of foliar coverage of the area to 30% in 2030. For this ambitious goal, they actually aim for a massive plantation politic, a replacement of each felled tree by 3 new specimens, and the increase of foliar surface of existing trees, including the decreasing of tree pruning as much as possible. Indeed, having more foliar coverage will help in increasing the shadows on the ground and reducing the heat islands. Therefore, it will ease the canicular summer effects and provide fresher temperature in public places where people used to spend their time strolling or laying on the grass. But not only that, it will also increase the biodiversity in terms of plants and animals, the green spaces and nature within the city, and a better filtering of the air, because the more leaves there are, the more the photosynthesis will occur and the more the carbon dioxide will be captured. Back to you, Giancarlo.
Thank you so much for bringing us that environmental report. But you mentioned about the potential conversion of trees into the cat head silhouette. How long will it take for them to grow the branches and the foliage?
Yes, so for them to grow their branches and foliage fully and naturally, it will take them more or less 8 years. So if everything goes well, the city of Geneva would be able to reach their revegetation goal by 2030. Back to you, Giancarlo.
Thank you for joining us again today, Mina.
Thank you for having me, Giancarlo. I'm Anne Glauser, reporting from the Geneva, Switzerland, and we live in interesting times.
Okay, now we have a quick baking lesson for you. Here's John Pabustan from EBC Germany Bureau with a baking tutorial for beginners. Let's watch.
Hello everyone, I'm John. Even though it might not be your birthday today, I will show you how you can treat yourself to a simple and yet delicious cake. Without further ado, let's proceed to the ingredients. We start with the dough by adding flour, vanilla sugar, sugar, and baking powder into our bowl. Then we will start to mix them to spread them thoroughly in our bowl. After that we add the eggs, and our oil to the bowl, and mix them thoroughly with our hand mixer. While we are mixing it carefully, pour in the carbonated drink in the dough. Once all ingredients are well mixed, get a cake tin of your choice and cover it with parchment paper. Now you can pour the dough mix in the cake tin. Make sure that you equally spread the dough mix in your cake tin to ensure that your cake gets equally baked in the oven later. Next, put your cake dough in the oven under 200 degrees Celsius for 45 minutes. You can check your cake with the help of a chopstick or with a toothpick. After the cake finished baking, let it rest so it can cool down. Meanwhile, we can proceed to the sugar icing. Put the confectioner's sugar in a bowl and add 4 tablespoons of water. Next, stir the sugar with the water until you have no lumps of sugar left. Finally, remove the cake from the cake tin. and cover it with the sugar icing. I hope that you liked the cake and that you enjoyed our little time together. I'm John Pavustan from the EBC Bureau of Dortmund, Germany, and we live in interesting times.
Thank you so much again to John for that delicious baking lesson. Okay, we will end today's show once again with our view from a window. Today we're going to Moscow's Red Square. Moscow's Red Square is the oldest and largest square in the city. It is known for its historical symbol, impressive architecture, but most importantly, red actually means beautiful in Old Russian language. In the square, you can find various buildings, namely museums and galleries. For centuries, it has been the public meeting place and a marketplace. This view is courtesy of Emmy Coloma. Thank you so much for this wonderful view, Emmy. And that's it for today's program. We hope you stay safe and keep positive as we bring you more stories next week from around the United Kingdom and Europe. I'm Giancarlo Matera, and we live in interesting times.